Dear students, welcome to today's English class. Today we are going to see Unit 2, Section 3, a poem written in the fields. This poem is written by John Keats. John Keats was born in London on 31st October 1795. He was an English romantic poet. Although he died at the age of 25, Keats had perhaps the most remarkable career of any English poet. He published only 54 poems in 3 slim volumes and a few magazines. Although his poems were not generally well received by critics during his lifetime, his reputation grew after his death, and by the end of the 19th century, he had become one of the most beloved of all English poets. Dear students, what does one usually see or experience in the countryside that is not so common in the city? We are going to see what is the difference between a city life and a village life. What all things are there in a city life and what all things are there in a village life. The difference between. How would be the life of a man who is living in a busy city and how would be the life of a man who is living in a countryside or who is in a village? Do you like the city life more than country life or village life? There may be different. There may be few people who love village life. There are people who love city life. So here we have a poem. The name of the poem, Written in the Fields. The poet, John Keats. He lived only up to the age of 25. Who is happier? A person cooped up in a city or one who goes out in the countryside and sees the clear blue sky, sinks into the lush green grass and hears the sweet notes of a nightingale. It's an introduction given before the poem. Now, first of all, let's listen to the poem. While an audio along with animation of this poem is going to be played for you, you read this poem. You have to give special care to understand and follow or pay special attention to the pronunciation, intonation, and modulation, along with enjoying the thought in the poem. There is a thought in the poem that we have just introduced in the beginning. Now we are going to just listen or watch the poem. While going through the poem, you can either look at the animation which I am going to play for you, or you may look at your textbook. While you reading the poem, you have to give special attention to the pronunciation, intonation, and modulation. Shall we listen to the poem? Here comes the poem.
One who has been long in the city pent, 'tis very sweet to look into the fair and open face of heaven, to breathe a prayer, full in the smile of the blue firmament. Who is more happy when, with heart's content, fatigued he sinks into some pleasant lair of wavy grass, and reads a debonair and gentle tale of love and languishment, returning home at evening, with an ear catching the notes of Philomel, an eye watching the sailing cloudlet's bright career. He mourns that day so soon has glided by, e'en like the passage of an angel's tear, that falls through the clear ether silently.
Dear students, I hope you carefully followed the poem. There are certain difficult words or new words. Don't worry. We are going to understand the poem in detail. To one who has been long in the city pent, it's very sweet to look into the fair and open face of heaven, to breathe a prayer, full in the smile of the blue firmament, who is more happy when with heart's content. Fatigued, he sinks into some pleasant lair of wavy grass and reads a debonair and gentle tale of love and languishment. We will first of all see this first stanza, then only we move to second stanza. There are few words, penned, which means kept in or confined to the city. Firmament, the sky. Fatigued, tired. Lair, here the meaning is resting place. Debonair, here cheerful, light-hearted. Languishment, here staying separated from the person you are in love with. The pain of separation when you are in love. So the poem written in field is written by John Keats. The poem is about the pain of not being connected with the nature because of getting so much involved in busy world, that is the current reality world. He looked up in the sky, trying to forget his stuck busy life in city for a moment. The poem, the writer explains the pain of not being in nature like he used to live. Who is referred to in the first line? Can you identify? The first line, a person who is to one who has been long in the city pent, who has been pent means confined to the city life. So the first line is referred to a person who is living in the city, who is leading a life in city. What is meant by open face of heaven and smile of blue firmament? Definitely, a firmament meaning is given there, the sky. So open face of, once he looks to the sky, it's very sweet look into the fair and open face of heaven, to breathe a prayer full in the smile of blue firmament. So that stands for a sky. A person who lives in city life, one who leads a life in city, it's sweet to look in. For him, it's very sweet to look into it makes him relax or happy looking at the open face of heaven to the sky and breathe a prayer of, in order to relax, full in the smile of blue firmament. The sky is there smiling at him. What would a person from the city love to do when he comes to the countryside? That's, yes, a person who leading a life in city, once he get a chance to come to village, what he would love to do. Who is more happy when with heart's content. Fatigued, he sinks into some pleasant layer of wavy grass and reads a debonair and gentle tale of love and languishment. He wants to here plus a resting place of wavy grass and reads a debonair, a gentle tale of love and languishment. Once he's tired, he wants to come back to take rest in a grassy place and read a tale, a book or story of love and languishment. What can a tired man in the countryside do to feel regenerated? In order to regenerate, to become more energetic, one who is tired in city life has to come to a village in a countryside. And what he has to do. Now we will read the second stanza of the poem and understand more about the poem. Returning home at evening with an ear catching the notes of Philomel, an eye watching the sailing cloudlet's bright career, he mourns that day so soon has glided by, even like the passage of an angel's tear that falls through the clear ether silently. Philomel, a nightingale. Career, here a progress. Ether, the upper part of the sky. So a tired man in the countryside do feel regenerated when he hear the song of Philomel. And when we see little cloudlet means little clouds that passing in the sky. When the day comes to an end, what is the reaction of a countryman? A countryman is so sad that because his one day had withered away. You can see in the poem like this, he mourns that day so soon has glided by, so soon it had gone, even like the passage of an angel's tear that falls through the clear ether silently. And what about man used in city life? For him at the end of the day, he may be much relaxed because the busy schedule of a day has come to an end. How does the poet describe the passing of the day in a poetic manner? In a poetic manner that we have already seen, even like the passage of an angel's tear that falls through the clear ether silently, the day so soon has glided by. So in the poem, the poet has a vision. He sees while gazing at the wide blue sky. Because he was busy in the city, he looked at the sky. What he sees reminds the writer of the pain he is in the city, in the busy life, and he wants to be in the nature. The poem is a sonnet, where the narrator, poet John Keats himself, glorifies nature and the open landscape. City life is a busy, noisy, with its filth and gloom. In contrast, the poet finds the countryside, the village life, a breath of fresh air. As an escape from the suffocating and cheerless atmosphere of industrial city life, one has to come to village life. He exalts the pleasure of looking up into the sky after being pent up in the city for so long. It's a celebration of natural existence, a solemn rite almost, to look into the open face of heaven and breathe a prayer. Oh God, please save me from this busy life. Full in smile of blue firmament, the sky is there with a full smile when we look at the sky. The word firmament elevates the line and transforms the beautiful outdoors into a place of worship. Yes, looking at God or heaven, we look at the sky. The audience, we feel the poet regenerating power of nature and her inherent divinity. It's a nature that will give us life. The contrast between confines of the city and life, affirming quality of nature, is vividly strategically done. The first stanza, it talks about the busy life of So the beginning it talks about the busy, confined life in city, whereas the last verse afterwards, what is being discussed? The regenerating, life-giving life at the countryside or village life. The secular tone gives away reverent one, thus poet escape into nature's lovely openness. Nature, what poets needs is life with the nature, not a busy life in the city. The next line, the poet amplifies the redemptive virtue of nature and affirms positively. Who is more happy? Who is more happy than himself with the heart's content? When weary and tired, he drops down on the wavy grass. When did poet fall down on grass? A pleasant layer when he was tired, with a book that tells of love and languishment. Yes, the lines speak of freeing power the natural surroundings have on the poet, leading to a progression of happy contentment. A cozy grassy place to lie down in under a blue sky and enjoy a book of love and longing. That's the poet's simple wish, just escape from. This poem is only poet's simple wish to escape from the busy life. John Keats is from London. Maybe he wanted to escape or save himself from the busy London life and stay in village life. I think he was actually in a village life and he happened to be in a busy life. He is longing for the village life because he was actually originally a person from a village, and due to some kind of studies or some kind of job or something, he was forced to live in a city life. Though that's why he is longing for a village life. If a person who never been to a village, he will never wanted to be in a village life. This narrator or poet John Keats belongs to countryside, and he happened to be in a city. And being in the busy city life, he remembers the open sky reminds him what a regenerating life he could have with the nature in the countryside. Dear students, I hope you got the feel of the poet. You have to read this poem several times and you have to listen to the audio animation of this poem. Then I will explain the question answers for you right now. Let's read and enjoy. Study the title of this sonnet. Now only we do see in the textbook the term sonnet. Before during explanation I told you sonnet. What is a sonnet? A sonnet is a 14-line poem. This poem has got a 14 lines, 7 lines in the first stanza and 7 lines in the second stanza. Each line containing 10 syllables. Each line contains 10 syllables with a fixed pattern of rhyme. There is a rhyme scheme for these things. Would the poet have felt differently if he had tried writing the poem sitting at home? Why do you think so? So now this question is asking from where the poet has written this poem, no? Yes, the poet would have felt differently if he had tried writing the poem sitting at home, because he describes how lovely it is to be out in the open air. The poet enjoys being out in the open because he had been living in closed environment of the city. Now we shall see next question. Question number 2. Is the poet a city dweller? How do you know? No, the poet is not a city dweller. He happened to be in city at that time because he gives a beautiful and detailed description of life in the countryside. That's what I told you. He happened to be in city life for the time being. Actually, he belongs to a countryside. There he enjoyed a life with the nature. Smile of the blue firmament. This phrase is an example of personification. the poetic device that poet used to represent objects, etc., as humans. In this phrase, what is the poet thinking of as a person? We have come to know about a new term there, that is personification. So we will understand what is personification first. Then we will answer this question. Personification is a figure of speech. Figure of speech are used in poems and in literature. It's a literary device. So personification is a figure of speech in which a thing, an idea, or an animal is given human attributes or human qualities. The non-human objects are portrayed or presented in such a way that we feel they have the ability to act like human beings. For example, when we say the sky weeps, we are giving the sky the ability to cry, which is a human quality. Thus, we can say that the sky has been personified in the given sentence. With the above definition of personification, let us look at some personification examples. Look at my car. She's a beauty. Isn't she? We know that car is an object, but we consider her car as a beautiful girl, and isn't she? The wind whispered through dry grass. We know that wind is just a breeze going on. It's a movement of air. What it says here, whispered through the dry. It made a kind of sound while moving along the grass. The flowers danced in the gentle breeze. We know that only human beings will dance, but the movement of flowers in a breeze is presented as the dance by flowers. Time and tide wait for none. Here, normally we wait for some people. Time and tide are just ideas, but they will wait for none. It's being used like that. The fire swallowed the entire forest. We know that fire will not only we swallow, or so, but here it's as a used in a figure of speech, as a literary device. We see from the above examples of personification that this literary device helps us relate actions of inanimate objects to our own emotions. Now we will see the answer of question number 3. The poet is thinking of the sky as a person. Then we will see question number 4. What would the poet love to do when he is tired? If we are tired, we will take rest. I think our poet also will take some rest. What kind of rest? The poet says that when he is tired, he would love to lie down and relax in the wavy grass and read stories that are cheerful, light, or romantic, or languishment. Now we will see question number 5. When does the poet hear the nightingale sing? Sometime during the day or in the evening. Some clue is given along with the question itself. The poet hears the nightingale singing in the evening. Now we will see question number 6. Which words show that the cloud is moving? That is given in line 11. The word sailing and carry show that the cloud is moving. Now we will see question number 7. Now we will see question number 7. He mourns that day so soon has glided by. That is line 12. What would the difference be if the word past had been used in place of glided by? The hint is given there. Which word conveys the sense of slow, gentle movement? Two words are, one past, the other one is glided. Which one gives a sense of gentle movement? What do you think? If the word glided by had been replaced by past, it would have in a different meaning. It would mean that the day had gone by quickly without the poet living it, but glided by gives the sense that the poet enjoyed his day out thoroughly and wished if it were longer. Now we have question number 8. As you know, a simile is a word or a phrase that compares something to something else, using the word as or like. What does the poet compare the passing of lovely day to? Do you know what is simile? You might have learned about simile in previous classes. If it is not, if you haven't, no problem. We will just see the definition of simile. Then we will answer question number 8. What is simile? In today's class itself, we had seen another literary devices, figure of speech called personification. The simile is also a figure of speech. A simile is a figure of speech that makes a comparison showing similarities between two different things. A simile draws resemblance with the help of a word like or as. Therefore, it is a direct comparison. We can find simile examples in our daily speech. We often hear comments like, is as slow as a snail. Snails are notorious for their slow speed. And here the slowness of a person is compared to that of a snail. The use of as in the example helps to draw the resemblance. Now we know that the definition of simile. Let's look at some examples of common similes. Our soldiers are as brave as lions. They are not lions, but the braveness is that of lions. Her cheeks are red like a rose. He is as funny as a monkey. The water well was as dry as a bone. He is as cunning as a fox. Foxes are cunning. Simile introduce vividness, colorfulness into what we say. Authors and poets utilize simile to convey their sentiments and thoughts through vivid word pictures, colorful. They make it more clear. Now we will answer question number 8. The poet compares the passing of the lovely day to an angel's tear falling silently through the clear sky. Angels are in heaven, no? Now we have question number 9. The image of an angel's tear falling through the sky shows the poet's joy or regret at having to return home. Select the right word. Joy or regret. What do you think? Only one option you have. Regret. He's so sad that the day has gone so fast. Though he enjoyed a day at the countryside, he wished it would have been a little bit longer. Now we have one more question there. The poem is an appreciation of beauty in nature. Do you agree? Though the poem began with the strict life in a city or busy life in a city, actually this poem belongs to what? That's you have to answer. The answer would be an absolute yes. It's about the nature, the beauty in nature, a life with the nature. Dear students, I hope you have enjoyed today's class and you may read this poem several times. You have to complete your notes. I would like to remind you writing copy books, handwriting copy book and completing your notebooks. You have to write word meanings, sentences and question answers in your notebook. Until we meet in the next English class, thank you. Take care.